We were watching the kids together. It's real scary. We love stuff like that. You know the movie.
Council meeting to order at this time. Pastor Ward, Mr. Ward, Pastor Ward, and Mr. Leonard Clark, if you'll come forward and lead the invitation, place the flag, and while they're coming, I'll give you a little background. Pastor Ward with Victoria Life Baptist Church. Pastor Ward commenced his preaching in August of 2003. Prior to the organization of this great church, Pastor Ward served as pastor of congregational care and outreach for 10 years at the House of Hope, Atlanta. He has been married for over 20 years to his wife, who is his best friend, and they are the proud parents of one daughter. Sergeant Leonard D. Hart is a retired Army/Army Reserve, a current resident of Hampton, serving as an active volunteer with the Hampton Main Street program. Pastor Ward, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Let's talk about our heads. Everybody around close. Father, we honor you. For this is a day that you've made, and we rejoice. We thank you, God, for bringing us all together. And we thank you, God, for how you keep us in times of turmoil and in times of stress, and how you've protected us, God. And we're so thankful for those who are here, this mayor pro tem, and council members, the leadership of this great city, oh God. We pray your blessings upon them, God, for you said in your word that we are to pray for those who are in authority and in leadership, that we may all enjoy quiet and peaceable lives. And certainly we have that here in Hampton. And as we set our sights on this specific meeting and the agenda for tonight, God, we pray that you would be in the midst, that we would all be together in unity. For where there is unity, there's strength. God, where there's unity, there is peace. Where there's unity, God, we can overcome and overtake any obstacles and any challenges. God, have your way in this meeting. We look to you, God, to lead us and direct us. I pray for clarity of mind, receptivity of heart, that everyone would be able to provide detailed information that is needed in times like these. We give you praise now, Father, for who you are to us, and we love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Presentation, Employee of the Month, Denise McKay.
I'm an employee that has been working in my office for just a few short months, and she's amazing, most remarkable difference in me. She has no idea why she's been asked to come to the meeting tonight. Rebecca, could you please come over here? So Rebecca's only been with the city for a few short months, and she hit the ground running. We were talking today at lunch, and she said, her fiance asked her, he said, what was your first day like? And we were talking about first day. She said, did you go through orientation? Oh, no. She said, I never. And she has not stopped since she's been here. Her first 2 weeks here, she planned her evening at the depot and just took off and has been going ever since. And it's made her a remarkable business and income. I cannot thank you enough for everything that you've done. She has a great personality. She handles herself well in a way that's approachable and is well received by everyone that she's encountered and that interacts with her. She's established relationships with all of our businesses. She's reached out to everybody. We're rebuilding our volunteer force. if you get the opportunity, look in her office. She's got a volunteer board up there with all of her superheroes on there. We hope to have all of your pictures up on that board as well. But she recognizes everyone, and she has just brought talent to this department that we really need, and energy and excitement. Rebecca, I could not do this without you. Thank you so much, and we are glad to have you here. Let me get something for you. If you want to say anything, you're welcome to.
I actually asked her when she asked me to come to the meeting, I was like, oh, okay, do you want me to take notes, what do you want me to do? I wanted to be prepared. But I have to say that Denise is the best boss I have ever had, I can say that with full confidence. And I'm very excited to work here, I'm very grateful to work here. Main Street has an awesome team of all of our elected officials, our businesses, who I had the joy of getting to meet with this week again, try to meet with them every week. Our amazing citizens and our wonderful volunteer force, and I can't thank y'all enough for everything that you do to make the Main Street program what it is.
Thank you, If I could say one more thing, this is not only recognized by me, but everybody in the city that works within you has recognized you, and you deserve this award very much, and a lot of people want to know that, so it wasn't just me, it was everybody, so thank you.
Thank you. John Spraggin, new employee.
Have a new employee with Public Works, Street Department, Mr. James Goggins. He's been here almost right at a month. Yeah, right at a month. And I look forward to introducing him as the employee of the month pretty soon. All right. Right, sir. This is Mr. Goggins with the Street Department.
Thank you. Okay, the Georgia Municipal Association 2018 Convention update, Mayor, by me. We had a great, yes, Ms. Palmer?
Is there any way we could get some air? It's real hot back here.
It's on as low as we got it. Let me tell you, I'm burning up right up here right now. Okay, John, what are you saying?
All the air is cut from down as far as it goes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
that door still open?
Yeah, the door's open, so you got it.
I'm talking about the door we came in, and I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
We attended class in Savannah this, June 22nd through the 26th. Myself, Mayor Pro Tem Tarpley, Councilmember Mitchell, and, Mr. Tony, the city manager. I actually got to teach a part of a class on, capital improvement and changing demographics. They give you 3 minutes to prepare. So that was quite a great presentation, but it was good. We actually, the capital improvement was, we built a new city hall, $200 a square foot, at a cost of $12 million, 4 floors high. But that was just, it's great to be in that type of environment. You meet new people, you meet other people, mayors and council members that are going to some of the same growing problems we are. It's just a good time to be in Savannah, and hope to see all my council people there next year. Okay, approval of minutes, work/council meeting, Tuesday, June 12th, 2018.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we approve the workshop council meeting on June 12th, 2018.
Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
just the quote on the bottom for me on the, I guess the third page, when I said Councilperson Stephanie Bodie stated that she wanted to hear from all citizens and that she is paid every night for this meeting. I said I paid every month for this meeting that night.
Okay. Make those changes, please. Any other changes? All in favor? Pass 6-0. Approval of minutes, special call council meeting Monday, June the 18th, 2018.
I make a motion for the special call council meeting Monday, June 18th.
Any changes, any discussion? All in favor? Pass 6-0. Special call work session Wednesday, June 27th, 2018.
Make a motion that we approve the special call work session for Wednesday, June 27, 2018.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion, any changes? All in favor? Pass 6-0. Inviting guests, Ms. Rick, design business owner, she is quite busy in her shop. I think we have a video, is that correct? Can we see that at this time?
My name is Miss Tina Reed. I'm the owner of Design on a Dime. I sell home decor and Hampton, Georgia, and I enjoy being in Hampton. It's a great day in Hampton.
Thank you. Mr. Leonard Sledge of the Henry County Development Authority, Executive Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen on Hampton City Council. First of all, I'm a little intimidated because between the Employee of the Month, the new employee, and Design on a Dime, I think I have my work cut out. But I would like to start by saying that, I have a special place in my heart for Hampton, Georgia. That's because I'm a native of Hampton, Virginia. And so it just rolls off my tongue, second nature. But I appreciate the opportunity to stand with you alongside you this evening to share a few updates in 2017 for the Henry County Development Authority. I became the executive director on December the 4th of 2017, and over the past 7 months, we have continued to create new economic opportunity in Henry County, while looking forward to creating new opportunities as well. And so I have a few brief slides to share with you this evening, and then, as you all will allow, I'm glad to answer any questions that you might have. We practiced earlier, right? All right. So, the mission of the Henry County Development Authority is to promote economic development in Henry County through the attraction and also the retention and expansion of existing business, and also to bring jobs to the county. Since I've been in the field of economic workforce development, I've developed a saying that a good job is a good job is a good job. Because people have different educational levels, people have different goals, ideas, and interests, and we want to make sure that they are abreast of good quality jobs for the entire population of Henry County. Next slide, please. We have 5 board members who are appointed by district, by the commissioner for each district in Henry County. Mr. Casey Crumpley represents District 1, Mr. David Linton, who serves as our Secretary Treasurer, District 2, Mr. Charles Mobley is our Vice Chairman, he represents District 3, Mr. David Gill, District 4, he is also our Chairman, and Mr. Pierre Clements represents District 5. Our legal counsel is Mr. Rod Meadows of Meadows, Mason, and Sutton. We have a lean and mean staff of 3. Leah Brown is our Director of Marketing and Existing Industry, and Terry Collins is our Office Manager. And we actually have our second intern over the past 7 months. Mr. Jonathan Crow is a presidential scholar at Morehouse College, major in economics. He is a graduate of Dutchtown High School, a lifelong Henry County resident. Next slide, please. So I preface this slide by saying I am not an economist, but I do think it's always good to share a few brief statistics so that people have an understanding of our labor force. As indicated by the first slide, we've grown in population in Henry County. Our population is currently about 229,000. And right now, from a labor force standpoint, about 112,000 people who represent citizens in Henry County who are of age to work. Our unemployment rate at the end of 2017 was 4.5%. This is both a good and a bad thing. Bad when the economy is good, or good rather, when the economy is good, there are jobs in abundance, and people are able to work. Bad in the sense that as companies, as employers are looking to make decisions for business expansion and attraction and new investment, when they start to see unemployment numbers dip a little too low, they begin to wonder, are there enough people who are skilled and qualified to take those jobs? And from a median household income standpoint, you will also note over the past 3 years, the median household income in Henry County has continued to increase. Next slide, please. This is a very powerful slide in terms of economic sustainability. All it represents is that none of these things can happen in isolation for us to grow from an economic development standpoint. In order to attract good jobs, we have to have a diversified housing base. We have to have a great PK through 12 and post-secondary education opportunities for our citizenry. We have to have quality of life as defined by the individual, whether that's parks, whether that's shopping, whether that's pavilions, whether there's a train depot so that you can have events. Quality of life is defined in many different ways. But all of these things working together is how we lift the overall economic vibrancy and sustainability in Henry County. Next slide, please. So in terms of 2017, the Henry County Development Authority announced 6 new companies that represented 1,842 new announced jobs in Henry County and account for over $280 million in new capital investment. And when we say capital investment, those are companies that are buying buildings, building buildings, the equipment and machinery that's inside of those buildings, office furniture, and the like. And that represents about 3.5 million square feet of industrial space and office space that was either leased or built or sold. Next slide, please. And this is the powerful statement. Those 6 projects over the next 10 years, we estimate, will generate about $16 million in new revenue for the general fund in Henry County. Next slide, please. So some of the companies that chose Henry County, I've been an eyeglass wearer since high school. LensCrafters has gotten lots of my money over the years. But how many of you know that LensCrafters is a part of Luxottica? If any of you have eye insurance, if IMED Insurance is owned by Luxottica. Luxottica is an Italian-owned company. They've had a presence in Henry County for at least the past 10 years, starting with a distribution facility on Highway 155. They saw fit to build a new manufacturing and distribution facility right across the street on Highway 155. So if you're wearing designer frames, whether it's Tory Burch, Burberry, Polo, if you own Ray-Bans, or if you wear Oakley, that's Luxottica, and they have a very large presence here in Henry County. The capital investment figure is actually understated at this point. Over the past 2 years, they have invested 9 figures in Henry County, and they've created over 1,000 new jobs during that same time period. And their total head count now is about 1,800 employees in Henry County. They are a huge success story for us. Next slide, please. Burris Logistics is a family-owned company in Mid-Atlantic. Temperature-controlled distribution, cold storage. They actually built a new facility. They own that facility in Henry County. And the workforce just absolutely loves working for Burris Logistics. And we're really pleased to have them as a part of Henry County. Next slide, please. And S&S Activewear is one of the newest companies in Henry County. Great story. There was a developer, Stenell Properties, that was building a spec building in Henry County. And when we say spec building, the company is just building it, hoping that someone will lease it sooner rather than later. Before the building was complete, we had a project that's still in place with S&S Activewear. They leased over 500,000 square feet. It's traditional distribution. S&S Activewear, if you're buying apparel, matching shirts, for example, for the city of Hampton, Georgia, that may be logoed or any of a number of things like that, they sell and distribute that type of apparel. Next slide, please. From a marketing and awareness standpoint, we have a presence on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and we do that to help make sure that we're getting not just news about sites and job announcements in Henry County out, but also to help people understand the great quality of life and the overall Henry County opportunity, not just for our citizens, but also for economic development professionals, not just in Georgia, not just in the United States, but globally, who have projects where they're considering Henry County. We also market Henry County proactively, trade shows, conferences, and one-on-one meetings and conversations with companies and economic development professionals. Next slide, please. We have target industry clusters in Henry County, things where we have industries where we have a natural strength, where we're able to leverage our assets and our workforce. several years ago, a study was done that identified our best industry targets as advanced manufacturing, healthcare, logistics, and professional solutions. I showed the industry clusters for Metro Atlanta and the state of Georgia because there is overlap in some areas. We recognize that we are very good at logistics and e-commerce. That story is getting brighter and brighter, and I won't stand here before you and try to gloss over it. We have transportation challenges in Henry County, transportation challenges that we are diligently working to overcome, because these companies are gonna still continue to take a hard look at us for investment and expansion. Not only that, the companies that are here, we wanna make sure that they can continue to stay here, grow, and thrive. But we also are taking an active look to figure out what new types of industry can we begin to grow and cultivate here in Henry County as well. And there's a lot of work that we'll be doing, that we've actually started doing to help advance that. Next slide, please. A lot of people think that all we do is attract warehouses and logistics and distribution. I'd like to make one thing clear: the Development Authority does not build warehouses. The private market, the private sector, builds everything that we see in Henry County. And interestingly enough, they do a lot on a speculative basis, because Henry County has proven itself, even with the traffic challenges and the transportation challenges, to be a sound investment for that type of development. And with that type of development comes the opportunities. We're beginning to see more and more opportunities in the e-commerce space, and believe it or not, the investment inside of the building in terms of the machinery, the tools, and the equipment, oftentimes is double what the actual value, double if not more, the actual value of the building itself. And it also takes highly skilled individuals who are working inside of those facilities, who are operating it and who are maintaining it as well. At the end of December 31st, 2017, the chart to the left shows what our project pipeline looked like. 58% of our active projects were in the advanced manufacturing space, 28% logistics, 5% healthcare, 7% professional solutions, and 2% others. Fast forward from January 1 of 2018 to the time that this slide was done, 55% of our projects were in the advanced manufacturing space, 9% in logistics. As I've shown this presentation to the Board of Commissioners and each city council, I didn't want to show a different slide, but what I would like to share is our updated 2018 project pipeline percentages. On the advanced manufacturing side, 46%, healthcare 4%, logistics 33%, professional solutions 4%, and others 13%. Next slide, please. 2018, we are working aggressively to establish the first community improvement district in Henry County, concentrated in our industrial area. We believe that a CID being in place will help to leverage additional local, regional, and state dollars sooner rather than later to help address some of the transportation infrastructure challenges. One of the most notable CIDs in the metro area is the Cobb CID. So think Cobb Parkway and 285. The beautiful landscaping, the signage that you see all throughout that Cobb County area has been driven by the presence of the CID. The CID is all over the metro area, but again, we believe that it's critically important to get one established in Henry County. And while I was waiting for the meeting to start, I got an email. Another property owner has consented to their property being a part of our CID, so we're continuing to make progress. The picture that you see in the upper right-hand corner is a company called Hydro Systems. This company is based in Valencia, California. They were one of our early announcements this year. They are a manufacturer of bathtubs, some really nice bathtubs, by the way. What's really interesting and unique about this company is they bought a building on Highway 155 that has been vacant for 10 years, the old Snapper building. Building was an eyesore. Buildings start to die from the inside out when they're not occupied. And so not only were we able to help attract someone to bring the building back to life, but someone who's a vested owner in the well-being of Henry County. The picture on the bottom of that is Southern Gateway at Lambert's Farm. This is Henry County's newest industrial development and newest industrial park. 260 acres in the Lambert's Farm area, King Mill Road and Highway 42. At full build-out, there will be approximately 3 million square feet of industrial space, on a spec basis, they're moving forward with the first 1.1 million square foot building. Also, since we did this presentation initially, another project that we announced was KL Outdoors. They located in the building on Eagles Landing Parkway. They are the world's largest manufacturer of kayaks. When you go into Walmart, you will see their kayaks, and some other places as well. And also, in terms of 2018, just enhancing the communication of the Henry County economic development opportunity. We have a great story to tell in Henry County. We already said, I'm used to Hampton, and I think we have some natural assets in terms of things that are here and that are a part of our DNA that we can continue to help people understand, again, the true value of establishing a business operation here in the county. Develop strategies to create additional industry clusters, as I mentioned, and also expanding our project pipeline. As of Friday, there are 24 projects, new projects that have come through our door since January the 1st that we continue to work on to get a decision for Henry County. Next slide, please. So companies that choose Henry, again, another very powerful slide. And I'd just like to point out the first image you saw was Georgia Power, and my friend and colleague, Mr. David Campbell, who represents Georgia Power here today. A lot of what we are successful in doing is because we have great partners like Georgia Power, the Georgia Department of Economic Development, the Metro Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. But this is a slide that we should all be proud of as citizens in Henry County. One thing that I learned early in my economic development career is people get excited about things that they have a natural connection to. We are a very brand conscious, we are a very brand aware society. And people may not know Luxottica, but they know lens crafters. People, I'm sure, may have had to go and buy a tire or a set of tires from Pep Boys. Behr Paints. I've just had to do some painting at home. But these are all companies that in some shape, form, or fashion, large, small companies that originated in Henry County. But this is not representative of all of the great companies. These companies make strategic decisions and choices to choose Henry County, and that gives us great prospects of new companies choosing to do the same. By the way, who's heard of the Waffle Bakers? You've heard of the Waffle Bakers? Well, look in your frozen food section, and you'll find their pancakes. And even if you don't find their pancakes, I guarantee you've probably eaten a frozen waffle with someone else's name on it. Those are companies that are in Henry County. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions from the council? Any questions from the audience?
I have one question.
Well, go ahead.
Can you tell me what, we're on the west side of Henry, so I would like to know, in the 24 new companies that you guys are currently working with, is there any prospects in regards to bringing jobs closer this way?
That is a great question, Councilwoman. And also, for those who may not know, Councilwoman Tarpley participated in an economic development course that was held in Macon, Georgia. She is Denise. And Denise has been a great economic development colleague to work with since my coming here to Henry County. The majority of the projects that we're seeing right now are concentrated in areas where there is an existing industrial building. As new projects, as new developments are closer to coming online, I do believe that we'll have the opportunity to market those and make the state aware of the opportunity, and our other partners aware of the opportunities as well. We keep an online real estate database. The state has that database. Our partners have that database as well, and it does show available tracts of land on the western part of the county. But I would like to add, companies most often, whether it's an office product, whether it's a commercial product, whether it's an industrial product, unless they're looking to build something specific to their needs, they're looking for a building that, if not done, very close to being done. And that's, I think, where we're lacking primarily on the western part of the county.
Another question, just one, with the deepening of the Savannah Port, is Henry County, I think that's sort of halfway, are they looking at Henry County for a turnaround for trains and cargo?
That's a great question. I haven't had the cargo conversation in terms of rail. We know that Norfolk Southern is a great partner to have CSX lines that run here. One of the things that, as I learned early in my tenure in Henry County, our geographic location 20 miles south of the airport, 4 hours from the Port of Savannah. From the port standpoint, a truck can turn around in a day. And so that driver is able to be home at night with his or her family. But in addition to that, from an ease of movement, there is an initiative that Henry County is a part of now called the I-75 Central Corridor Coalition. And it's all about smart growth and development from Macon up through Henry County to take advantage of the growth and expansion of the port, the commercial traffic, but also in terms of Georgia's transportation plans and roadmap, creating a commercial vehicle lane that's dedicated for trucks and trailers. I'm again, not trying to gloss over the traffic congestion and concerns, but if we take a hard look, we'll see more vehicles than we see trucks. And that's indicative of the growth of Henry County as a residential community as well. And people coming through Henry County. There's been an explosive number of new hotel rooms that have been built and developed in Henry County. And having worked on hotel projects, those developers and property owners aren't doing it. There's a lot of great opportunities. I would also like to point out, our goal and aim, no different than my being here with you today, is to make sure that we're communicating in a timely manner with all of the elected bodies about economic development in the county, and making sure that our citizenry is hearing from us as well. One of the things that we've done is just this very quick economic activity snapshot, which essentially, what I took 15 minutes to tell you, I'm trying to tell you in a quick flip of the page. And so again, our goal and aim is to get the word out, because there is a lot of great activity that's going on. And I'd also like to thank the new city manager, Mr. Tony, for his support as well. Just looking forward for great things to continue happening.
Ms. Palmer, I saw your hand. Do you have a question?
Yes. Are there any, things that's coming for like office jobs instead of these warehouses? Because, the warehouses tend to come here and after a few years and they vacate and leave. And, then our roads are tore up and we're left picking up their bill, such as the Toys R Us warehouse and stuff like that. We'd like to have some things like they have on the north side, office jobs where families can have a real living and a career.
And ma'am, I apologize for turning my back as I answer,
That's okay.
as I answer the question. Great question, in terms of office jobs and office products. What we'll see from an industrial standpoint, again, Henry County has grown up, from an industrial-based standpoint, and reflecting back on a presentation that the chief appraiser did, for the fiscal year 19 budget season, the industrial product grew on a tax roll standpoint by 15%. So from a general fund, from a revenue producing standpoint, it's healthy and stable. From an office standpoint, the short answer of it is, we don't have any places that are ready, that are defined and built to attract office. And talking with developers, leading developers in the Atlanta metro market, it's going to boil down to how quickly can they get a building pre-leased before they build it. Secondly, what rent rate will they be able to charge to justify the expense of financing that building? And thirdly, is the project in an area that's going to be attractive for millennials? Talent from an office standpoint is actually not an office standpoint, but is driving all economic development decisions. And I'll give you a great example. NCR was in a suburban office park. They relocated to Midtown Atlanta. 2 beautiful new buildings, close to transit. It's not to say that it is impossible, but what we need is a vision and an idea of where, work towards that, and begin to develop and cultivate those opportunities. And I would also dare to say that in some of these industrial buildings, there are office components to them as well. Summit Racing comes to mind, has a very large office operation. TSYS, or Total Systems, which is headquartered in Columbus, Georgia. They have an operations center in the city of McDonough. Georgia Power has a very large operations center in McDonough as well, on Patrick Henry Parkway. And they exist But to the lady's point, our goal and objective is to see more, but before we see that happen and materialize, it really boils down to where do we have opportunities to build and to develop office types of projects. And having had to have a plumber come to my house, you know, being a plumber's not too bad either.
Thank you, Mr. Sledge.
Thank you again,
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen.
Mr. John P. Harkin Jr. here tonight. Will come on up and just tell us a little about what's going on at Central Georgia EMC.
Good evening, council members. I'm the VP of Distribution there at Central Georgia. We are very proud to be City of Hampton's power supplier. Just wanted to make sure that the City of Hampton also knows that we are here for support services for other instances. The recent power outage that y'all had, we're just a call away. John Spraggins and I are in touch pretty regular. So we're glad to be here. We offer support for power restoration. With me also is Chris Mitchell over our metering department. I believe most of you know we host your metering service as well. That's another service that we provide to the City of Hampton. Again, grateful for the opportunity to do business with y'all. If there's anything we can do to continue to foster that relationship, improve it, or any additional services you would like us to provide, please let us know.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I want to personally thank you for meeting with us. We recognize the small issues that we had, but I want the citizens as well as the council to know that we have met directly with our providers as is represented today in their presence. We continue to have meetings to be more proactive with our support for the citizens. So thank you.
Thank you. And again, if there's any additional service we can provide at Central Georgia, let us know.
Henry, go ahead.
Can you tell us when the second D will be ready for power?
John and I had brief discussions about that earlier. The work in the substation is complete on the GT side of the project. There was a damaged piece of equipment during construction. It is awaiting repair, but by the time the city has the infrastructure in, from the city's point of view, the substation will be ready to take service. So I have to apologize, John, making answer where the city is on getting their infrastructure in on that side. But the substation portion will be.
And we have a tentative target to make sure it's ready prior to the hurricane season.
And again, John, I have discussed about this, and Mr. Tony, I hope it's okay to mention here, we have offered our contract crews that work with us on a regular basis to assist with the city's infrastructure installation at what we think would be a contract price savings. They've offered work for the city's behalf at the same contract price that they work for us. So we've offered that resource also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dave Campbell, Georgia Power, Regional External Affairs Manager.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. I just want to stop by, it's an honor to stop by today and say hello to you, and so you'll know who I am. I'm Davey Campbell, External Affairs Manager for Georgia Power Company, but I'm also the primary contact for Henry County. So we deal a lot with Mr. Sledge, as you said, on the economic development side. I've tried to develop a relationship with Mayor Hudson, and we're developing a relationship with Mr. Coney. So whenever there is a problem with Georgia Power Company, I am your primary contact for this area. Feel free to call me 24/7. I do sleep at night, so I may be a little bit slow in returning response to you, but our job is to work closely with the EMC to make sure we provide reliable service for our residents. And so if there's ever a challenge, feel free to give them a call. I'm just a phone call away. Any questions?
And I will also add, thank you, David, that we're meeting with Georgia Power as well to make sure that our providers and our partners are with us in time of need before we have the need. Thank you, David.
And we're going to meet, as Mr. Combs said, we're going to meet later this week to talk about what exists and how can we close any gaps that are there. And again, you have my number 24/7. Feel free to reach out to me.
That's right, I have your personal cell phone.
You have my personal cell
Okay, no invited guest, special guest, public comment, Geraldine, St. Louis. Come on, thank you.
My name is Lisa Lewis, I live at 553 Hamlet Drive, and I am also the HOA president for Main Street Commons. I come here because I've received several complaints, so I'm here on behalf of my HOA members. One of the complaints that I received is the panhandling. So every week, we have a couple of companies that come to our neighborhood, ringing our doorbell, asking us if we wanted either a new roof, or if we wanted to buy steak, or if we want a new alarm company to come up and ask us to meet a lot. I understand the city of Hampton do provide them a permit to do that, but what we asking the city to do is give them a time frame. Because for someone to come in at 7 o'clock in the morning ringing your doorbell on a Saturday morning is ridiculous. So we are, and I do talk to the people at the city hall. I was told that they have to follow the ordinance, which is 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in the afternoon. I think if the city's gonna give them a permit, the city can ask them to come in at 11 instead of 7. So we are really asking for your help to help us out on that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, our community, 122 members of our community, wanted our Main Street Commons to be a gated community. So we don't know what the process is of being a gated community. So we wanted the city council to let us know what we need to do in order for us to turn our community into a gated community.
I would love to answer that for you, but I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
Follow up, no problem. We would love to do that, and we actually have been talking to a lot of companies to find out how much it will cost us, but we wanted to know exactly what we need from the city, because from my understanding, by talking to other people, other communities, once we become a gated community, the city is no longer responsible for our streets and lights and stuff, so we need to make sure that that is correct, so we'll know exactly how to proceed going forward.
I would start probably with Ms. Bird back in the back, and Wanda, does that fall under you?
Yes, sir.
And the city manager? Just check with the city manager first, and he'll send you in the right direction.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is the resurface of our streets. Main Street Commons was built in 2006. Since then, we have not had anything done in our street, and our street really needs to be resurfaced. So when Andy Pippin was the city manager, I used to work very closely with him, and we were on some list to be resurfaced. So I'm not sure where we are right now, so I would love to know if the city manager would let us know also, that would be great, if you wanted to do that. And,
I hate to cut you off, but your time's up. You only have 3 minutes.
Really?
Really?
I have 10 items.
Hey, I'll tell you what to do. Leave all 10 items with my city manager, Carl.
Yes, please.
And let him address them for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Dawn Greer?
Dawn Greer, 20 McDonald Street, Stevens. Dawn Greer, 20 McDonald Street. I'm speaking in opposition to the planned restriction of public comment and council. Any such action will limit citizens' ability to participate in the local government. Questions may not be able to be asked. Feedback may not be able to be given. Information may not be able to be communicated. Limitations on public comment would with absolute certainty discourage some citizens from participating in our local government at all. Approving these restrictions will create an atmosphere of disharmony and distrust between citizens and elected council members. It will make some of us wonder what other actions you have planned to undertake. Would you annex unbeneficial properties that strain our infrastructure? Would you increase your own salaries or try again to obtain city-issued credit cards for yourselves? Would you enact taxes on local property owners to back municipal bonds or some other project? A city council would be wise to welcome public comment that provides needed information and builds the public trust. That same city council would be foolish to think that only their opinions can provide 100% of the knowledge needed. to make sound decisions that affect all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Greer.
Good afternoon, council. My name is Dexter Collateral, 215 Creekside Circle. Just wanted to address the power outage we had on June 24th and June 25th. There's just some utility concerns about. My first concern is the price. This is a good thing. I went to the Georgia PSA website, which you are familiar with, and I went to the winter survey, and we are paying below average rate for utilities here in Georgia, and that's a good thing. My second concern is reliability. I think this is an area where we have a lot of short power outages. Where power goes out 4 or 5 seconds, comes back on. It's not a long time, but it causes inconvenience for a lot of people. They transfer money, they work from home. A lot of times our pool pump and our pool goes out, and that puts about 85,000 gallons. So it just takes long for water to store to turn to recover the pump is on. So I think that is an area where we can improve on. Third concern, the contract that we have with Central Georgia EMC, if there's anything related to an outage management, in other words, if there are several trees that went down, and we can't restore service in a timely manner, do they have any legal obligation to come in and help us restore power back in a timely manner? The average citizen really doesn't care if that pole is owned by Georgia Power, Central GMC, or the city happen. They just want the power back on in a timely manner. Some things that I think that we can do, obviously drive around the city and cut limbs as close as the power line is a good thing. But it may be a good idea to start making an investment in underground utilities. I mean, I've been in Hampton 12 years. We've got 3 builders. Every building has placed utilities underground. You get 3 or 4 years and they're gone. We live here. I think it would be a wise investment to start taking these overhead utilities and placing them underground. None of you all created this problem. I think you all have an opportunity to minimize this 9% problem. I do have one question. The second fee that he mentioned, what's the benefit? I mean, how's the average?
The second feed is if, like, the other night when the power went out, John would flip a switch and you would have the next power back on.
Okay, yeah. We need to hear that.
Thank you. Any more public comments? Ms. Palmer?
Gabby Palmer, 145 Hampton Oaks Drive, Hampton. I'd like to know the status of the teen council. We haven't had a meeting in some time, and we were wanting to hurry up and move forward before school got started, and school starts in like 2.5 weeks. And I'd like to know the status of that.
I can only say there's an ordinance that talks about the youth council tonight on the agenda under new business.
Okay. So is it just what was there, is it just disband?
When we start discussing that on the agenda, I'll answer those questions.
Okay.
Ms. Oliver? I'm sorry, Katie. I'm sorry. Go, come on, Ms. Oliver. No, I get Katie for that.
You might have to give me a name.
Yes, you got
I'm Esma Oliver, attending College Street, Hampton, Georgia, 30228. I just wanted to say that it is so nice to see that Hampton is reaching out to the county, and the county is responding and building a partnership, it appears, with the city. Something that should have been happening a long time ago. But here we are now. And I just want to thank whoever is responsible for that, and I'm assuming it's the leaders here, the council people, and Mr. Coney for bringing the gentleman. My memory is short, so I don't remember your name. But I do
Mr.
remember
Swedler.
the impact of the information that you brought, and I'm just very pleased with that. We have not, since, in the 5 years that I have been coming to this council meeting, 4 years, I'm sorry, not had any kind of presentation like that from the county informing us, and that's what we've been needing, information, and when we ask for information, they say it's up to the county. Well, we are in the county, so we are part of the county, and it seems that the citizens shouldn't have to go to the county to get specific information about what's happening that might impact Hampton. If we form partnership